I would say what I'm going to show you tonight is one of the most definitive actions that when I did change the whole game of my business. The single most action. And I'm going to just add a corollary to that, and that is that I really believe that if this action, which I believe should be probably one of the first actions that you get your personally signed distributors to do, if this action is missed, the chances for success are drastically reduced. That's how critical and important I feel what you're going to learn tonight and about a master list and the importance of that is. So we are, especially in this business of network marketing, where many of us have never realized the dream manifestation of network marketing. Very few of us have. I think Scott, Brian, we have very few of us here that have actually experienced the manifestation of network marketing or any kind of endeavor like this, being able to be a vehicle for our dreams. But the most critical thing that I want you to understand is that our dreams need to get transposed into reality, and the only one factor that makes the possibility for that to happen is this thing called action. Okay? Unless you can get into a mode of action, you will not have a bridge between your dreams and your reality. I don't think I'm telling anything new to everybody. And our particular action is very specific. It's based on what we've been talking about now and what Brian outlined nearly 3 weeks ago in the Ruby call, and what Samantha has been giving great trainings in. It's basically this success pattern, what we call this pattern of success. And this is a basic ongoing action. If there were any one thing you should focus for your business, not only to be doing for yourselves and to be teaching your people, it would be nothing more than this pattern being done, mastered, and repeated over and over again. And I cannot stress that strong enough, that this pattern is what we will be focusing on for the entire rest of this year until we really have some possibilities behind it. Now, one of the things that I noticed when we make a list and when we teach our people to make a list was that we didn't have a great communication line between our PSDs or as a PSD with our sponsors. And what I discovered through Google is that we could create a very simple duplicatable form that I'm going to teach you tonight and how to do that. And I'm going to give you kind of the logic on why you would probably choose this in the modern age of technology than any other one that you're doing right now. Now, before we go further, it is very important that you either write these down, but you should have listened at least to chapter 4 of Eric Worre, where he covers skill number 1. And skill number 1, there are 7 skills that you learn in the GoPro book. And skill number 1 is in chapter 4, and it's all about creating this master list. So it's very important that you read that. And there's another incredible PDF that Scott made for us that summarizes all the aspects of that master list that Denise went over not too long ago with the 4 types of fish and all of that. These are the 2 key things that you want to be able to pass on to your downline. But if you haven't read these and if you haven't fully understood them, you want to make sure that this becomes the very first and most vital part of your training that you do in order to continue to succeed with your pattern. Now, normally, when we get our business pack, tucked in our little pocket is a paper, which is a carbon copy paper of our list. And all of you should have gotten this. And normally when you make this list, it has a carbon copy. And the idea of that carbon copy is to give this carbon copy to your sponsor. The reason why you give that carbon copy to your sponsor is for 2 reasons. Number 1, it shows your sponsor that you actually did this very critical step. That's the first thing. The second thing is your sponsor with this list will then begin to strategize and work with you on how to expose the people on this list to the Alpha opportunity or to the products we have. So the list is in itself is very important to do, but the second most important part is how you as a sponsor work that list with your new people coming in. Or if you haven't done this with your sponsor, or if you're finding yourself stuck somewhere, you should have a list that you're providing for your sponsor to work in. Now, what I'm going to show you tonight is how to create this list in what we call Google Forms. Why Google Forms? Because Google Forms allows us to be able to have our master list form available on our computer, on our iPads, or on our iPhone. In other words, anywhere we go, we are able to take our master form or our list with us and filling it at a moment's notice. And it's so important to have that availability, because you might meet a person at a shopping market or a person that you're talking to that you've just met, and the minute you leave that person, you want to be able to pull out your phone or your iPad or whatever you have with you and fill in that form so it gets put right into your master list. So I'm going to teach you that tonight. I'm going to teach you how to do that. So if you give me a second here, I'm going to pull up the training for that. And you should all be able to see this movie that we're going to show. And I also want to say that as I talk to this, if you don't see this moving as I talk, just somebody shout out and saying it's not moving. So we're going to start with making sure that you have a Google account. It's very easy to have a Google address. Everybody should have a Google account, only because it is one of the most sophisticated email servers we have out there that'll filter out spam. But not only that, but Google continuously creates some of the best business tools that are all free that I'm going to show you tonight that you're going to be able to take advantage of. Very easy to create one. I've created actually 10 of them. I have 10. I'm only showing you 3. We're going to go to the GoPro Alpha Gmail that I created, and we're going to, as an example, go. And when you go to Google, you'll see you have the email here. But I want you to notice all the way to the right, you have 9 little squares. You're going to press that. And that's going to open up this window where you're going to look for G Drive. Now, when you go to G Drive, you're going to have these new features. When you go to New, you're going to scroll down to More, and there you're going to see Google Forms. Now, when you press Google Forms, you'll see an icon for starting a new form. And I'm going to show you how we do that. So, first of all, when you get a new form coming up, you can title it. We're going to title this one, My Alpha Master List. And just to make everything nice and organized, we're going to take that same title and put it up right here at the left so that we have everything consistent. Now, forget about a form description, but now you'll see that this is written up like a survey, but actually, we're going to fill in name, and you'll see at the right you have multiple choice. We're going to put short answer. So that allows that form to be filled in with a short answer. And we're going to just go right down the line with occupation. And we're going to choose again to the right, doing this with a short answer so that we can enter those with a short text answer. And you'll see the plus sign will just keep giving us a new way to keep adding fields. Okay, now as we continue to do this, we have email. And I'm going to show you why I'm going to show you different ways to do this. Because I want to show you little background. Now, for background and options, you might need a little bit more than a short answer. So now we're going to pick paragraph. So you can write as much as possible about this person. Okay? And then we're going to go further. And this time we're going to scroll up a little bit more. Let me see if I can move this little pad here. State, we're going to put the city and state. We just want to know where this person is. And the next one, we're going to add, I think it's type of fish. Let's see if we can get this to scroll up. There we go. And here we're going to choose multiple choice. In other words, a multiple choice allows you to only pick one of these. Now, if you don't know what a whale, shark, and a dolphin or an urchin is, that is what the PDF that I just showed you is all about. You're going to be able to listen to that, but here you can list them right in your form for the contact. The next question we're going to ask would be a 5-star, what we call a 5-star breakdown. And again, you're going to find this in the breakdown that Denise gave. And instead of a multiple choice, we're going to check these so that you have an option to check anywhere from 1 to 5 of these. So this form is very cool because you can create all different ways that the form can be answered. Now, also think about this. Just think that you're at an event or you have your iPad with you. You can actually hand your iPad to somebody with this form, and they'll be able to fill this out. And then naturally, you can just tell them to skip these parts. But isn't it great that you can have all of this information now that's going to be entered each time you do a form? Okay, we're just going to keep scrolling down. And we're going to add 5-star breakdown. And if you have no idea what this is, it's, you're always going to talk to your 5-star people. If you have a 1-star or 2-star or 3 stars, they're not going to be as valuable as a 5-star person. Now here's a look at our master form and its completion. You'll see that it has a submit button. And if I press the little pencil to the right, it brings me back into the edit mode. Now we're going to look at responses. In other words, where do these go to? You're going to see that there's a little green arrow there. And I'm going to ask this form to get created into a spreadsheet into my G drive. So I'm going to name this spreadsheet my MasterList entries. I'll get rid of responses. And I'm going to create now a spreadsheet. And here's how that spreadsheet looks. Right now it's a blank Excel spreadsheet that's right in your GDream account. Now I want you to notice when I press responses, there's no responses that have come up. Let's pick the eyeball and I'm going to show you we have all empty spots. Let's give an example of how this works. If you take that little eyeball, it's a preview. Whenever I press preview, I get an online version of that form, and we're going to fill in an example so that you can see how this form fills up into that spreadsheet. So we're going to pick Mary Smith. She's a nurse. Sam, you might know her. She's at mary@gmail.com. Her phone number. Actually, Sam, you might not know her because she actually lives in New York. Let's scroll down a little bit and get her moving. There we go. So we're putting down that she's in New York, and I know that she loves to help people, so I'm going to make her a whale. I met her at the emergency room, and I'm going to check off all the things just in conversation that I noticed about her. Okay, so it looks like she's going to be a 4-star for me. Maybe, there we go. Let's make her a 4-star because she likes me, and I'll submit that. Now, when I submit that, I'll get a request if I want to create another form. And if I click that, I come back to my form. But instead, let's go back to our edit, and let's check out our responses. You'll see that we have all of Mary's information, our responses. But if I click the spreadsheet, there she is. She's filled up right in that spreadsheet. And I can create as many, up to 1,000. There's just no limit to how many people I can create in this spreadsheet. And that's how it works. Now, this is the critical part. All right? Let's stop for a second. Remember that we want to share this with our sponsor. Or if you're helping your downline do this, this is how they get to see this exact list. You share it with that link that I just showed you, and you're going to enter their email address. In this case, I'm going to put my email address as the sponsor. And you'll also notice to the right, I don't want them to edit it. I just want them to view it. And then I'm going to send this link to them. Now, Richard Anton Diaz, me the sponsor, I'm going to receive that. There's a new Gmail account. And as you see, there's the if you happen to come to your G Drive, you'll just go to the G Drive and look for the mail, and it'll bring you right to where the mail is. And as you see, there's the mail I just sent to my sponsor. My sponsor is going to click Open in Sheets, and bingo, you see now he has the exact same duplicate of the sheet that you have. And the beautiful thing is that every time you fill in a new form, that sheet automatically fills up in your sponsor's Gmail account. Pretty cool, right? So your sponsor can see the progress you're making as you fill out your information in your own form. Now that is how we do a Gmail account. I'm sure some of you may have questions, but hold on a second because we have a lot more to go, and then we can go back and answer more. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how we are able to bring that form into all of our devices. Okay? So as you saw before, this is our master list. There's our preview. And what I'm going to do is, at the preview, you'll see, this is a different kind of form, but kind of the same thing. Same thing. There's a link right at top. You see that link? Now, it's a very lengthy link. That link alone can be shortened. If I go back to my eyeball, there's a little icon right next to the mailed, and instead of sending, I'm going to press that icon, I'm going to shorten that link, and I'm going to copy that link. And when I copy that link, I just want to show you how when I put it in the browser, right up here, all right, and I press return, I get the master form ready to go. So now I can save that link. Okay, so now I can save that link and hold it. But let's go further. That link now is going to be on my computer because I'm going to save that as a browser. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to send, and this time I'm going to type this to me. I'm going to assume that I'm going to put this on my iPhone now. I'm going to show you how to do this on my iPhone. So I mail this to myself. I mailed the link. I'm going to pick up my iPhone, and you'll see at the top, there's the link I just sent to my iPhone, and I'm going to open up the form right on my iPhone. And you'll see at the bottom, there's this little rectangle with an arrow pointing to the top. So when I press that arrow to the top, I get two windows. I'm going to slide the window where it says Add to Home Screen. Add to Home Screen. And when I add to home screen, right at the top, you see the word add. You'll see right on my iPhone, there's my form right there. So anytime I'm out and about, I can press I've made it an app, and I automatically am able to fill in that form. Okay, now I don't want to rush anybody, but I wanted just to show you that again. Okay, there's the app right there. Hold on. By adding that to my home screen, it turns right into an app right there. And then whenever I press that, no matter where I am, I'm going to get my form. Now I'm going to show you how to do the same thing on an iPad. So here's my iPad now. So I mailed it to my iPad. I'm going to open up my mail in my iPad. There is the mail that just came in. And it's going to pretty much do the same thing I did on my iPhone. I fill out the form. I just press that link. And here, the rectangle with the arrows open up the upper right. I'm going to press that same familiar link. It's located on my iPad at the right. I'm going to scroll down to the second row and look for Add to Home Screen. And when I add it to my home screen, it'll do exactly the same thing. As you can see, there is the app right to the right. I press that, and now I have a beautiful form available. what I really like about the iPad is that when I'm having a PBR, some kind of party, I actually get about 2 or 3 iPads from other SWAT team members that come in so that they are able to download the form. And 2 or 3 of us are able to get everybody's name and address just by going around and kind of typing everybody's name in there. So hopefully you have gotten an idea. It may have been very fast when you saw this, and we'll open it up to questions and answers, but hopefully you got an idea of how it looks like when you are able to get everything on your iPhone or on your iPad, and how easy it is to communicate between your sponsor. There's one more thing I want to say, and that is that when my downline calls me and tells me that they want a 3-way call with one of their people, I ask them, are they on the master list? And they will say, yes. I said, great, give me their name. And I pull up their master list, right? Because I have a copy of their master list. And now I can see exactly the person. They don't have to tell me their background, how they met. Everything is there. It's all written. And the beautiful thing is, if I have 10 PSDs that I'm working with, I can have all 10 of those PSDs. I can have all copies of their master list right in front of me. So I can work very efficiently in that manner. Okay? All right. That was pretty fast, faster than I thought. I would love to open it up to questions and answers, because I'm sure you might have some. So you can unmute yourself, and I'll be happy to help you with what you've just seen.
I have a question, Anton.
Yes.
The list that I already have, does that mean I need to take all that info and add it to the forms?
Yeah.
Or is there a shortcut? This is Nancy. Sorry, my screen just blanked out. Yes.
Yeah. Nancy, do you have all of these online or on paper?
On Excel spreadsheets, doing the old-fashioned way. Got
you. So what you can do in your Excel spreadsheet, I can help you with this, is you can create, I would create the form first, all by itself, just like you saw. Okay. And then whatever headings are missing on your spreadsheet, you want to fill in those headings, even if they're blank. And then all you have to do is cut and paste that Excel spreadsheet into a Google spreadsheet. And then when your form asks you what spreadsheet you want to connect it to, you designate that one so you don't have to do it all over again.
Oh, nice. Okay. Thank you.
You need help with that, you let me know.
Thank you.
Great question. Anybody else? Is there anybody else that was overwhelmed by this process? I know we went a little fast.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that is not doing an active master list right now? And can anybody tell me what a master list, what would be a good definition for a master list? Anybody? Because it's really important to know what a definition of a master list is. And I'll give you a hint. There was a quote that I sent out on the Alpha newsletter about this training. So can anybody define a master list for me?
I can say what I don't know if I've seen that training, but it's just an ongoing list of new prospects.
That's right. And it's an ongoing list. I would define it this way. It's everybody that you know, past, present, and future, under the sun, moon, and stars, from here on in. So it's not just putting people that are new, it's also going back in your mind all the people that you've ever known. If you do a master list right, you should have over 1,000 people. I have over 1,000 people in my master list. Now, will you ever prospect even half of those? Probably not. But the fact that you have everybody that you know no longer in your head, but you now have it in a list, and if you make that a habit, you will never ever run out of people to talk to, because just going through that master list will wake up a connection with you that you forgot all about. So I make it a habit to have a master list, and will make it a habit for the rest of my life, long as I do this business. And I fill in that master list over and over and over again with new names, as well as with names that I've forgotten in the past. Make sense? Does anybody have any questions now about how you would work that master list with your new PSD? Okay, let me give you a story. One of my fastest growing PSDs signed up this February of this year. Okay, in 2 months she hit Ruby. She is going to be among the people going to the Mexico trip. Her name is Jenny Lynch. Now, her first month, she did not fill up her master list. She was doing a lot of stuff and telling a lot of people, but I could tell she wasn't filling up her master list. And I would call her, and every time she would call me with excitement, she'd, oh, I told this person about the mushrooms. I said, Jenny, you got to put them on the master list. And she goes, oh yeah, okay. And she would call me up again and tell me how she was excited at this person. I say, Jenny, did they put them on the master list? Oh, no, I didn't do that. Jenny, you have to put them on the master list because all the people you're telling me, I'm not seeing them in the names. And as soon as she got in that habit of putting people on her master list, she got up to 80 people within 1 month, people that she still doesn't talk to. And that girl became a Ruby within 2 months, just on that one action alone. And because she could call me and say, I want you to talk to Sarah, my question was always this: is she on the master list? And if the answer was no, I would say, Jenny, until you put her on the master list, I don't want to hear about it. Put her on the master list and then we can talk. If you want to do it right now as we wait, I'll wait. But you got to put her on the master list. And I'll tell you why I wanted to do that, because I have no time to hear the history of how somebody met this person and what they said and what they did. I want to do this efficiently. And if you contain all those things in that form, I know that form looked very and there's things in that form that you could even add on your own. That's why I showed you how to do it. So you can add whatever you want. But the more comprehensive you make that form, when it comes time to do your three-way call with your sponsor, and your sponsor has a copy of that master form, it is lightning speed. Does that make sense, guys? So it is the most important thing, how you work your list with your downline. And if Google Forms isn't your way that you do things and you prefer paper, fine. But make sure that your sponsor has a copy. Or make sure that if you are teaching your downline, that you make sure that they give a copy to you. I am just showing you, in my opinion, one of the most efficient, powerful ways to have a master list that you can create on all of your devices and share immediately with your entire downline. And you want to pray for the day, guys, when you open up your Google Drive and you see 10 master lists in front of you. You want to pray for that day, because 10 times 100, you just got 1,000 new names of possible potential leads that are going to lead to prospects, that are going to lead to business builders or customers by exposing them and sorting them. Make sense? So I want you to really understand the importance of a master list. Just writing names down is not enough. It's how you take that master list and you convert it into action with your sponsor or with your downline. All right. Any other questions or comments that people would like to make?
Anton, I have a question.
Yes, Sammy.
And you might have already talked about this, but I accidentally shattered my phone and I haven't got it replaced yet, and my computer wasn't connecting, so I had to jump on my phone, and so I can't like see really well.
Sorry.
I can hear. So because I really love this because of the efficiency and because of the duplication. I mean, it's brilliant to be able to just jump on, you know, your team's list, because, you know, I do three-way calls with my team, and I go through the background because I want to make sure I can be relatable to their person and
right,
you know, all of that. And so this is like another level for me. So thank you for that. But you talked about Trello in your last trainings, the last two or so.
Yes.
is there a way to have the Google Doc and the Trello communicate? Because I really like the Trello. I started doing that. And the thing I like about it is that you can move between lists. So like when I contact someone, I can move them to a different list. Because that's the thing I get into trouble with, I feel like, with a master list, is that it's so overwhelming that I don't want to have to search, you know, a name I just have a hard time sorting out my master list. You know, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I know exactly what you're saying. That is a great question. When you have a spreadsheet of names followed by information, all you have is a database. That's all you have. You do not have an action document. You do not have a document where you can efficiently conduct business on. It is nothing more than a pure database. So what I do with Trello is, when I go through my master lists, when I've run out of, in my mind, when I psychologically say, gosh, who do I talk to? And I go through my master list and say, oh my God, I forgot about that person. I will then just copy the name. Mm-hmm. I know I have it on my master list. I'll bring that name to Trello, so I don't have to go to Trello now and put in all the information. I know it's in my master list, and I will start the prospecting procedure with that person. Now, I might take the information and begin to put them on my phone. I don't even put in my contact. But when they are moved from a lead, in other words, all of my lists are potential prospects. I call them leads. When I make my lead convert into a prospect, it means I'm in motion with them. And to keep my Trello simple, I'm only going to keep the people that I'm in motion with. I don't want a whole bunch of names that are mixed in with people that I'm not in motion with. So I don't know if there's an efficient way to do this. I do know, Sammy, that there's a way to go from that spreadsheet to Insightly, say. But again, it's the same problem, because I don't want to load Insightly with a bunch of names that are mixed. But I do know that there's a way, and I'll find it, where you can extract a name from a spreadsheet, cut and paste it on another spreadsheet, and bingo, it can. There's a program called Zapper, which is excellent, and Zapper is famous for linking up different programs. So Zapper is what I use to connect my Google Forms to my Insightly account. I'm sure they have one for Trello as well. I'll do some research on it for you.
Awesome. I appreciate it. That makes it a lot more clear, because when in the Trello conversation, I was really excited about it, and I ran into that problem of I started putting everyone I know on Trello, and I was like, how am I gonna be effective with this? So yeah. I love what you said about the master list being, you know, just your leads, and then when they become a prospect, that's when you use them in your activity, you know, business list in Trello. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Perfect. Your master list is nothing more than a database. It is not designed, no Excel spreadsheet is really designed for action steps, not if you have an entire database. So great. I'm so glad you asked that question, because see, it's another part of organization that we add in, and we will in another meeting, maybe the next one, we'll go now how you take a lead and how you put them through a process of prospecting, where you expose them through a tool, three-way call, and then sort them to a yes, no, or maybe.
Perfect.
Great question, though. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other thoughts or questions you might have on what you've learned tonight?
Anton, this is Nancy.
Yes, Nancy.
Hi, I have another question. Last time when we spoke, you had said that you had one consistency with the master form, and that you were going to send us the template and to copy it, not to edit it, but to copy it. But when I received it, I only had it was the template, but it offered you to start from the beginning. It wasn't completed. So I didn't know.
Sorry about that. My mistake.
No, that's okay. So I didn't know if that was what you wanted to stick with, certain categories in certain order, so then you could put all your templates together.
Right. If you would like, anybody that would like a template of the one that I use, put your email in the chat area and I will send it to you tonight. Nancy, I must have sent you the wrong one. My apologies.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. Anybody who would like a template, and I'll show you, I'll just give you a quick look at my template. The template that I use is the one that I have demonstrated here. Okay, so you'll see that, let's see if it lists it. You know, I have, oops, sorry about that. Let's see if I can do this easier. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's see if I can track through this slowly. So my template has name, first name, last name. I actually will put lead, prospect, customer. I'll actually set the status, because sometimes I will have a downline who calls me with their PSD, and they're already a personally signed distributor. So this person is asking for active help. So I actually now will fill that person on my master list as somebody that I'm helping in my downline. Or I might get a no. You know, I might talk to somebody on the street and get their information, and they give me a no. But I've gotten their permission to keep me in the loop. So I keep them in the loop. And I'm going to now take that person, I'm going to put them in a special email where I will every month keep them in the loop. You see? So I've created that status, and then go a little bit further, the email. I also always write down their Facebook page, because I get so much information about them when I get onto their Facebook page. If I can make a friend with them, I will make their friend. I will friend them on Facebook so that I will get to even know more personally about them. If they are a professional, I'd like to see their website to see how I can integrate Alpha with their business. If we go a little bit further, I think I go on to add the 5 stars. So even though I check off, if you see when I go back, when I go back, sorry about this, because I'm doing this all by film. Even though I check off, I also created another where I could just check off 1 star, 5 star. So if I get a 4 star, then I'll look at the other field and see which ones. And then I also added another one, how they relate to me, red, blue, or green. And all of that is in the document that I first gave you to study and look at. So if you want a copy of that form, I will be happy to share that with you. In the meantime, I want to go back and just make sure that you all read these 2 documents right here. Make sure that you make it a point to, you can go to the first one is audio and it's transcripted. Make sure you listen to that entire chapter, guys. This is your very first skill. It's skill number 1, according to Eric Warre. And then make sure you read the entire document, which if you're going to get a copy of my form, it will explain all of the fields that I've entered in. I've entered in my form. So again, if you want a copy of that, send me your email and I will make sure you all get a copy of the form. Let me say this also, that if you do not have a Gmail account, create one, because it's going to be the form will not be as easy for you unless you have a Gmail account. And then the second thing is, when you create this form, I'm going to send you a form that everybody is sharing, so that if you alter it, it's going to alter everybody's. So when you get this form, you must make a copy, your own copy, and then simply delete the form I sent you. There's a little waste paper, and just get rid of it. But you make a copy for yourself. Make 2 copies. One that you create and one that you save for your downline. Okay? Nancy, thanks. I'll get that to you tonight. This is a question from Susanna. If your sponsor, let's see, are you or Susanna is answering this question? Somebody is stuck creating their form. If you tried to create this form while we were doing this, that's not going to be easy. Wait until the recording comes out and just do it slowly. Any questions that you want to ask here of the field here that we have?
Yes, Anton.
Yes, Mary.
Do people ever ask you about security, and what do you say?
All the time. People say, are you going to call my people? Or, people are always very concerned that you must assure them, I will never call any of your people unless you introduce me to them. You must introduce me to your people. Okay, the reason why I have a copy of this form is so I can make sure, number one, that you're going to fill it out, because if you don't have much of a chance of succeeding in this business. That's the first thing I tell them. And then the second thing is, I will be your business partner. You want to introduce me to all of your friends as your business partner, and I don't have time to listen to the history every time you want me to talk with them. So you must put them somewhere where I can read their background information within a matter of seconds and speak to them. But I assure you, I will never contact these people without your introducing me to them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's almost a better answer than what I was actually asking.
Good. Oh, you were asking another question?
Part two, the Google security with people's information, does that come up?
No.
Okay.
Google is one of the most secure email servers in the world right now.
And so for the forums too?
For everything, for absolutely everything. And even email, they filter better than any email server spam. So, I would really recommend start to live in the Google world, because that's where the world is. That's why their stock is almost $800, right, Steve? $800 a share. Is it now up to $800 a share?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the top people now.
Thank you.
Great
And
question.
Tom,
Yes.
this is Kathy Jo. Well, that brought up, I'd like a clarification on that, because it is my understanding that Google actually data mines everybody's information from what you put into Google. And so although they may protect you from other people, they themselves are collecting your data and passing it along.
Well, let's put it this way, guys. This recording that you're hearing right now is somewhere being kept on some file. Every call I make is somewhere being kept on file. Whether we like it or not, there's a big database out there that's probably recording everything. And you know what? I'm not going to worry about that, because what I'm doing is doing a business. I don't think anybody's going to abuse it. And in all my years that I've been doing Google, not once has anybody of my friends or my contacts ever contacted me and said, hey, Google is sending out ads to me, or Facebook is, and I somehow think it's some form that I filled out with you. There's just no way of tracking that, Kathy. So
Okay.
It's the world we live in.
It is.
The big brother world that we live in. Anybody else? Has this been helpful for you?
Yes, very.
Great. It is my hopes that you see the vital importance of your master list. There's one thing I didn't say, but I wanted to say in the beginning, but I inferred it, and that is that the master list is your very first materialization of your dream. Okay? It's the very first time that you're able to take a thought and put it somewhere in reality where action begins. And without that first step, it's not likely that action's going to begin evenly. All right, guys. I hope I've helped. I hope this has been useful for you. This will be on recording. You can all mute yourself. Just mute. Somebody in the background, we got some feedback there. Maybe Steve. There we go. All right, guys. Next Wednesday, we're going to be going into a little bit of the next step. We're going to review this master list, how we go from a master list, working strategies with your downline, and how you get them to start to send, how to get your downline to open up to sending a prospect and exposure. Okay? So we'll be reviewing, again, coming back to the action system. That's what we call our pattern of success. Guys, it's been great working with you tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Take care, all.